Hi everybody, welcome to the workshop of Healthy Minds for Healthy Lives. I'm Jane and I'll be showing you around all of our information that we have for you today. So to get started, I have a quote from Carl Jung. Carl Jung was a renowned psychiatrist and a psychoanalyst from Switzerland who founded the analytical psychology and was extremely influential within our society, and he still is today. This is my favorite quote from Jung. It reads, "We cannot change anything until we accept it. Condemnation does not liberate, it oppresses." So I want you to think about this quote and what it means to you throughout this workshop video. So just keep it in the back of your mind. You can save it if you want to. So, mental health is extremely important. You've probably noticed within the past few years, there's been an increase in the amount of attention that mental health has been receiving, and that's really good. We need a lot more people to look into it, understand it, try to understand it, and be supportive. But also, you might be secretly wondering, what is mental health and why is mental health important? Which are two very good and important questions, and I think a lot more people need to be asking themselves that. So, mental health is defined by the World Organization, or WHO, as a state of well-being in which the individual realizes his or her own abilities, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. Why is mental health important? So mental health is extremely important, to say the least. Mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. So it basically affects everybody. It affects how we think, feel, and act. It also helps determine how we handle stress and relate to others, and also how we make healthy choices. Mental health is important at every stage of life, and that just goes unnoticed, untalked about, and unrecognized, which is not very good. So every stage of life, from childhood and adolescence through adulthood. So mental health is very important and you should care. But you might be like, well, why should I care? Well, gosh, why should you care? According to Dr. Exong, emotional and mental health is important because it's a vital part of your life and it impacts your thoughts, behaviors, and emotions. Being healthy emotionally can promote productivity and effectiveness in activities like work, school, or caregiving. Your daily activities are affected by your mental health. This is 100% true. I can tell you from experience. But with the stigma that comes with having a mental health disorder, people are scared of what other people think, or just too cool to care. Too cool is in quotes because no one's too cool to care. Let's be real. This is a problem. What if somebody you love is secretly suffering and won't tell you because they are scared of what you will think? Nobody wants to be alone, especially in their own head. And people that don't suffer from a mental health disorder, they should realize that your own thoughts, no matter if you're diagnosed or not, if you suffer or not, they can be damaging, severely damaging. So mental health in college students, this is a huge thing. I've seen so many people that I know leave college or just have such a terrible college experience because of their mental health issues. So major life transitions can be very difficult. Moving to a new state or going to a new school, moving away from home is very difficult, especially if it's someone's first time. So just over 35% of college freshmen struggle with a mental health disorder, and that's both diagnosed or an undiagnosed disorder. So whether or not they know if they're diagnosed, but they think they have symptoms or they do show symptoms, that is part of the 35% that struggle. And that's a huge number. That's basically 1 out of every 3 people are struggling with a mental health disorder. More than 40% of college students have felt more than the average amount of stress within the past year. And stress and anxiety have negative effects on the mind and the body. Your sleep quality decreases, you might not get as many hours, you might be super restless, can't fall asleep, constantly thinking. It's terrible for your body's health. Your emotions are heightened. Your anger, your irritability, super snappy, are almost uncontrollable. And your education begins to suffer. You'll see your grades drop. You'll not want to participate in class. You'll miss assignments. And that's really hard, especially on somebody that is dealing with a mental health disorder. More than 80% of college students felt overwhelmed by all they had to do in the past year. The TCU states poor circulation, increased weight, heart problems, higher cholesterol levels, lack of energy, poor sleep, bad concentration, nervous condition, depression, and so on are things that come from being extremely overwhelmed and not seeking help or finding solutions to relieve all that overwhelmingness. Mental health in college students also feel hopeless. 45% have felt hopeless, that things were hopeless, things couldn't get better. Hopelessness can impact the perception one has of school and life in general. Hopelessness can lead to learned helplessness, which is result in the individuals avoiding challenges, situations, and a failure to preserve. Quote from Cynthia M. So almost 73% of students living with a mental health condition have experienced a mental health crisis on campus, and most of them don't seek help. Almost 1/3 of college students report having felt so depressed that they have trouble functioning. I can relate to this, and it is terrible. It is awful. Your whole body aches. You can't get out of bed. You literally don't even want to go on your phone. You don't want to open your laptop, and you just don't want to do anything. You feel like you can't do anything. You have no strength. So out of those people that didn't seek help, even though they had a crisis, 34.2% reported that their college did not know about their crisis. And that is awful. That is so sad. People need to seek help. People are there so that you can seek help. Some factors that are associated with not seeking treatment include lack of perceived need, being unaware of services or insurance coverage, and skepticism about effectiveness. But you're not going to know until you go. You need to get help and see if that's what's right for you. Again, why should I care? We're just going to go back over this because you or a loved one could be suffering secretly. A mental health disorder is not a virus. It's not contagious. People with mental health disorders tend to have to work harder for the same results as somebody that doesn't suffer. The stigma on mental health needs to change for the better. Changing the stigma will improve the amount of resources for getting help. So, get help. There are so many resources available to those who will use them. Everyone suffers from their own issues and problems, but yours aren't any different. You both have things you need to work through. Everybody has things they need to work through. But don't be scared, seek help. So going back to that quote, what does it mean to you now? I think that Jung is relating it to our personal thoughts and judgments of ourselves and others. If we condemn, oppress, or actively view others and ourselves in a negative light, it does not bring any sense of peace or acceptance. It further builds up these walls between people and within ourselves, which is going to stall our search for peace and comfort. So coming to acceptance with our thoughts can be super powerful and super transforming to our mental health. And here are my resources. Thank you guys so much.